Hi there. It's been a long time, hasn't it? Well, here's finally the part 5 of the builds, which I decided to dedicate to the Conqueror class. Conqueror is warfare and defense, which two masteries which complement each other pretty well, because they both deal in sort of raw physical strength, not so much on like the dexterity like hunting and rogue do, and definitely not on magic. So here's a Conqueror build that I went for, and I'll sort of guide you the way. I know the pictures here, it's a bit quite hard to see what I tried to make them clearer, but it turned out to be worse. So I'll just guide you. We'll start with warfare first. The first thing is you can just forget about the dual wield tree. I mean, you can have a dual wield Conqueror if you want to, but if you want to sort of build a regular Conqueror, by default it's more because the shield attacks of the defense mastery are much stronger than the dual wield of the warfare. However, the onslaught tree would pretty much be your main one. That's the only left mouse button attack you've got here. So I'll suggest you to max out the whole tree eventually at some stage. And the skill at the bottom left, that's weapon training. You definitely want to max that out as well, because offensive ability and attack speed are really useful for a melee character. Battle Rage, just 1 point in the skill itself, just for that occasional 50% increase in offensive ability, and you can forget about the other two skills. I mean, only if you have spare skill points, which you probably won't. Some of the other supporting skills, they're pretty useful. The one we got sort of in the middle-ish tree here, that's Battle Standard. It's very useful for pretty much every warfare class, and Conqueror is no exception. Just remember that Triumph is bugged in the original version, so if you want its full potential and get the fan patch 117, I already discussed this in the previous build videos. The one just below the Battle Standard, that's a dodge attack skill. It's not too bad either. When maxed out, gives you around 20% chance to dodge melee attacks, if I'm not mistaken. So that's pretty useful as well. And the one on the far right, that's a War Horn. It depends. You can go sort of 1 point in it just to have it as a panic button skill to stun the enemies from time to time, or you can sort of max out fully and use a Doom Horn to cause the percentage health reduction to the enemies. Warwind, I would say you can get it if you want to, but if you want a charging skill, then the shield charge and defense tree is better. I'll discuss this in a bit, but Warwind I would only use if you want a second charging skill, and you can pretty much forget about Lacerate, because the bleeding damage it deals is weak. You can only put 1 point in it if you want to, because it adds an extra target. And finally, the Ancestral Warriors. Once again, it's one of those skills that you can either completely ignore, or if you get it, then it's probably best to just max it out. I mean, I personally haven't ever found these guys too useful, except for being distraction for some bosses. But some people apparently can make them very powerful. And we're moving on to defense. First of all to note is that you definitely want to invest in the passive shield skills, which are Pulverize, Disable, and Shield Smash. Then a charging skill, I would definitely suggest you get a shield charge. It's a very useful skill. I mean, pretty powerful and good for stunning groups of monsters and getting towards them really fast, like in particular when you deal with like Dragonian mages and stuff. So you want to quickly get close to them and kill them as fast as possible. And pretty much as every defense class, I love the Batter skill, because it's pretty good. I mean, it's not as powerful as shield charge, but it's sort of just another shield attack really, on top of those passive shield skills. And for rend armor, I'd suggest to get 1 point, just so you can, because it allows you to strike 3 targets. But any other points, it will only help you sort of decrease enemy armor, but it's not that powerful. So just 1 point in rend armor, and you can max out Batter skill if you want to. On the left hand side here, we've got the more defensive defense skills, the 3 trees: the Adrenaline, the Rally, and the Battle Awareness. You can get just one of them, or you can get 2 of them, or you can get all 3. It's up to you, and it depends which ones you really want to. I mean, Adrenaline is a quite good one because it activates passively. I also put 1 point in the Adrenaline itself, and then max out its upgrade. Rally is pretty good if you have loads of allies, like the Ancestral Warriors perhaps, or if you want to sort of have as a panic button because it gives you some healing, if I'm not mistaken. And Battle Awareness is sort of it's not too bad either. I mean, the Iron Will, 1 or 2 points in that, pretty great already. Increases all those secondary and tertiary resistances, and the focus skill is pretty good as well because it lets you block with the shield more. Here's some sort of standalone skills. The one at the bottom left here, that's it allows you to stun the enemies from time to time, but that only applies to clubs. So unless you're only going to use clubs, don't bother with this skill. I mean, I probably put 1 point there, I think, but I don't think I've been even using it that much. So it's probably the least useful skill of all the defense tree. The one sort of highlighted in red, that's quick recovery. It's pretty good because it increases your shield blocking and all. So in the times when you're facing a powerful boss or a huge group of monsters, that skill could be useful. Up there, highlighted in blue, is a Colossus form. As you know already, I already mentioned it before, that 1 point in it makes it a tremendous skill, but any more points, it doesn't really add too much. So I usually keep it just 1 point. And the one at the very bottom, highlighted in yellow, that's armor handling, and it's quite useful because it lowers the strength requirement for using armors and weapons, so it's quite good if you want to have better stuff earlier on. And so yeah, those were the skills. Hopefully that was all clear. I mean, Conqueror has a lot of good skills he can use. It's not one of those classes which you're likely to go wrong. I mean, it's quite a noob friendly class. It's quite easy to make it overpowered. And yeah, let's finally move on to the stats. I mean, you mostly need to concentrate on strength and dexterity here, especially the strength. Forget entirely about the intelligence. And health in itself, it's sort of, I mean, warfare and defense give quite huge health bonuses, so health should be quite good. And energy, I mean, you don't need to use that many active skills, so energy probably wouldn't be that required either. So yeah, most points go in strength and some in dexterity as well. And secondary stats, yeah, just the stuff I underlined that's pretty much useful. The offensive and defensive ability, just make sure it's not too low. And that's pretty much it. That's a Conqueror for you. If you have any more questions, then just leave a comment. Bye then.